Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So here I'm sharing some Kubernetes interview questions, which interviewer asked uh, many times, and these are the all recent questions only and purely on Kubernetes. So let's get started. The first question is CAD networking types. In Kubernetes, networking is mainly in four types: pod-to-pod communication within the cluster, pod-to-service communication using cluster IP, external access via node port, load balancer, ingress, and service-to-service communication using DNS. So all pods communicate over a flat network using CNI plugins services which provides stable access and load balancing. Ingress is used for HTTP and HTTPS from HTTPS routing from outside. They will ask, can you tell me some popular CNI plugins which we used while configuring cluster? So we can say Calico. This is most commonly used, supports networks policies. In production, we used Calico to enforce network policies, restrict pod-to-pod communication, and improve security. It helps us to control which services can talk each other. There are other Flannel, VNet, and Cilium. Second question is, in my upgrade CAD cluster, we can just answer within 4 to 5 lines. In my project, we follow controlled rolling upgrade process for Kubernetes. First, we check version compatibility, tech etcd backup, and review deprecated APIs. Then we upgrade the control plane, followed by the node pools, one by one, using surge upgrade to avoid downtime. After upgrade, we validate workloads, monitor logs, metrics, and ensure all pods are running healthy. Third question is how to add nodes. In one of my project, we add nodes by scaling the node pool in GKE. We either increase the node count manually or enable cluster autoscaler based on the workload demands. In my project, we use node autoscaling in GKE, so nodes were automatically added based on the workload demand for a specific workloads. We also created separate node pools in a GKE. I add nodes by increasing node pool size or a creating node pool command. G node pool command, like in a command prompt, we can add these commands to add a node. We need to add some container or a cluster related details over there. Next question is, they will ask about this command, so make sure you know this. How will you add new pod to a node? In Kubernetes, we don't manually assign pods to nodes in most cases. The scheduler automatically assigns pods based on resources availability and constraints. Okay. Next question is fifth. Fifth question is how to take etcd backup. In Kubernetes, etcd is the key value store that holds the entire cluster set. So taking a regular backup is very critical for disaster recovery. In production, I automate etcd backup using cron jobs. Store them in a secure location like cloud storage or S3 in AWS to ensure recovery in case of cluster failure. So there are 3 to 5 steps. First step is set environment by this command. Then take a snapshot of that backup by using these commands. Then third step, verify backup. This ensures backup is valid. Then in case of failure, while taking a backup, we can just restore using snapshot. Okay, to restore by using snapshot, use this command. You just save these commands. Then update etcd config to use new data in directory. Restart kube API server and etcd. That's it. Next question is, they will ask about ports of API etcd kubelet. So just tell, for API port is 6443. For etcd, the port is 2379. For kubelet, the port is 10250. Kubernetes API server runs on 6443 port by default. All communication within the cluster, like kubectl commands, goes through this port over HTTPS. It is the main entry point of the control plane. And kubelet runs on 10250 on each node. Controller manager uses 10257 and scheduler A uses 10259. Seventh question is RBAC. Read-only access for nodes. In Kubernetes, I have implemented RBAC to provide controlled access for read-only access to nodes. I usually create a role or a cluster role with only gate list and watch permissions. Since nodes are cluster level resources, we used a cluster role. Parameters for read-only access like gate, list, watch. These are the parameters. Next question is container runtime. A container runtime is a software responsible for running containers on a node. In Kubernetes, it pulls images, creates containers, and manages their lifecycle. How it works? So, in Kubernetes, kubelet communicates with the container runtime using CRI, container runtime interface. There are other options of container runtime. So, it what what it do? The runtime then pulls the image and runs the container. This is the work of container runtime in Kubernetes. So popular container runtimes, they will ask how many types or do you know other than Docker. So we just say container is a by default in Kubernetes, CRIO, lightweight Kubernetes focused, and next is Docker, which we used. Okay, so ninth question is what are taints and toleration? Taints and toleration are used to control pod scaling. So taints are applied on nodes and repel pods, and tolerations are applied on pods to allow them to be scheduled on those nodes. There are three types: no schedule, pod will not be scheduled then. Prefer no schedule, try to avoid. Then no execute, evicts existing pods also. Next question, 10th question is labels. Labels in Kubernetes are key value pairs attached to objects like pods, services, and nodes. They are used to identify, organize, select resources. These are the configuration which we applied. Match labels app backend, where we are actually configuring this in a backend or in a front end. In my project, we use labels for environment separation like dev, UAT, and prod, and for routing traffic via services. So label is just like a naming conversation to identify each pod. Okay. Then each pod means identify resources. It helps to select resources. See, they are used to identify, organize, and select resources. Okay. The 11th question is PV and PVC. In Kubernetes, persistent volume is the actual resource, and persistent volume claim is a request for that storage by a pod. PVs are physical store resources in a cluster. PV is created by admin or dynamically and represents actual storage like disk, NFS, or a cloud storage. PVC, while PVCs are request for storage by a user or a pod, when a PVC is created, Kubernetes automatically binds it to a matching PV based on size and access mode. These are the configuration for PV claim. Kind persistent volume claim, then spec resources request for a 10 GI. Okay. Then 12th question is how do you secure access to the Kubernetes API server? By using, we can secure access to Kubernetes API server by using authentication, by using authorization, by using admission controllers, network policies, encryption in transist. We can answer like this. Don't go on a detail if they don't ask. 13th question is readiness and liveness probe. Readiness probes controls traffic while liveness probe controls the container start. In Kubernetes, probes are used to monitor the health of containers. The two main types of readiness probe and liveness probe. Readiness, there are two main types. Okay, so readiness probes checks whether the application inside the pod is ready to accept the traffic. If it fails, the pod is removed from the service endpoint, so it won't receive traffic. This is useful for during application startup or when the app is temporarily not ready. Liveness probe is uh, whether the application is still running properly. If it fails, Kubernetes restart the container, assuming it is in failed or a stuck state, like that. So these are the configuration for liveness probe and readiness probe. For 10th question is config maps and secrets. A config map is used to store non-sensitive configuration data in key value pairs. Secrets are keyed objects that store sensitive data such as password, tokens, etc., etc., key, etc. By default, it is stored in etcd in base64 encoded form. We store key value pairs in secrets and then use them as a environment variable. They will ask how you integrate credentials or how you add credentials. So just say this: we passed as an environment variable. Okay. These are the configuration for environment variable and how we store the credentials. Okay, I have again written this. Okay, labels. I have covered simple questions like quick to answer. Labels. Labels are key value pair attached to resource like pods and nodes used for identification and selection. Mention app which we used backend, environment which we used prod. Okay, then pod selector. Pod selector is used by service or deployments to select pods based on labels. Service will send traffic only to pods with label app equals to backend. Okay. Understood. Next question is node selector. Selector is used to schedule pods on specific nodes based on node labels. Add label to node, then add this command, use in a pod. Pod will only runs on nodes with that label. For that purpose, we use label. It's just like a tag. Pod affinity ensures that a pod is scheduled near other pods with specific labels. So these are the configuration for pod affinity. This places pods on the same node as a backend pods. Fifth question is pod anti-affinity. Pod anti-affinity ensures that pods are not scheduled on the same node. These are the configuration and used to distribute pods across nodes for high availability. The single word we can learn or remember to while answering: labels used to identify resources, selector used to select resources, node selector used to select node. Pod affinity place pods together, pod anti-affinity spreads pods apart. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope guys you like this video and share with those are preparing for a DevOps interviews.